Awesome. That's a tough act to follow, by the way. Thanks, Yvonne, for putting me second here. So let me tell you about what GreenSeam, but first, Sam Ziegler, director of GreenSeam, also a farm just south of town here. So, but what I'm here to talk about is GreenSeam, and I want everybody to participate and think of questions as you come along, but this is all about creating a renaissance effect of agriculture. For over 100 years, we've taken this agriculture for granted, and it just continues to grow in our region. We're sitting in the Hubbard building, right? Hubbard Milling, Ardent Mills still functioning next door. And we just don't always think about how agriculture has changed and how more people are connected than what we expect. And so as we move forward, let's think about what you see there. We see green, we see seam. Those all have a play in why the name GreenSeam got named this way, from the standpoint of if you look at a satellite imagery in the summertime, this area of the world is more green than almost any other part of the world because of our crops that we grow. We're part of the seam. We're together. We have to make this function. It's not going to be an individual effort. And so just like seam on your clothing, this is part of who we are. And our logo came from the thought of crop rows, agriculture, but also circuit board. Also the place in the middle, that where we are a place in this area. And this isn't working now. Okay.
When you click, point it toward the computer.
It's not. Nothing's even moving. I got you. Okay. We're good now? Try it out. Okay. So when we talk about GreenSeam, we're really an industry cluster. And there's a few industry clusters that you might think of right away when you think of Silicon Valley. They're a cluster that focuses around technology. Okay? When you think of Wall Street, you think of financial. When you think of the GreenSeam, this is the industry cluster that you should think about as our region of the world. And we are a proving grounds for agriculture of all types of technology. We have the service providers here, and we have all the way down to some of the richest soil in the world. And that's who we are. And so as people don't always remember where our small communities are in Minnesota and northern Iowa, they can remember a larger brand name that we work together on. And our goal is to be the premier epicenter of agriculture in the world. The 4 core areas that we're focusing on to try to make this a better place is the business retention and attraction. It's the business attraction and creation, which is the perfect place to be doing that here. Talent development, retention, attraction, and then regional branding and promotion. And I'll get into each of those a little bit. So here's just a view of saying, well, how can you say that we are part of the highest production area in the world? Well, here's a USDA map of value of crops sold in the whole U.S. And you can clearly see that in our region, it's some of the most dense and highly marketed crops in the world. Yes, we are maybe have some competition in California, but we have our own water. Okay? And I don't think I have to say any more. So here's just a cutout of Minnesota and how that looks, and every one of these dots is $20 million in sales. Okay? So we have the base here already. We just need to figure out how to grow it on purpose instead of just letting kind of ag just be part of our culture and we just say, well, it's here. What does that corn row mean out there? So, and let me make sure you don't just stop at agriculture and crops, but think of the businesses that are connected to it. And so we've created a business directory. There's over 950 ag businesses listed on there. And some of them you might not think of, well, that's an ag business. Never thought of that. We have manufacturers. We have over 100 metal, plastic type manufacturers in the region that double-digit percentage of their business every day is focused on agriculture. So they won't raise their hand necessarily and say, hey, I'm an ag business, until you talk with them and say, what's your business? Well, I'm into making stuff. Well, what are you making? Well, this, that, and then you'll find out that ag is their core, a part of their core business. You think of the food manufacturing. We're 4 times more concentrated in food manufacturing than any other place in the U.S. 4 times more than anybody else. That's a big number. And when you look at our workforce that we say directly are engaged in agriculture, it's 28%. So in the GreenSeam region, for statistical areas, we have about 600,000 people. 300,000 people work, which is a really high percentage of workforce employed, and 100,000 of them, 99,000 something, are directly employed in agriculture every day. We're not counting the car dealerships. We're not counting the hotels and those things, which we all know have an effect on that as well. And when we look at economic activity, we're talking 36 billion every year. Agriculture puts out in this region. Agribusiness, what we call the renaissance of ag, is thinking differently about ag and how important it is. When we look at the talent side, USDA has done a great study for us with Purdue saying 57,900 every year jobs go unfilled. And this is degree individuals, so 4-year degree, 39% of those are unfilled every year. And so how do we change that? MSU here is a partner with us, and they've been a great partner, and they're adding some new degree programs for this fall. And so I'm excited about that. We'll play a quick video for you. This moves.
We are proud to live in the GreenSeam, proud of our communities, and proud to work here. Because our region is growing, and there are thousands of new jobs, new careers, and new opportunities. Because in the GreenSeam, we are redefining.
I tested this beforehand. It worked perfectly, so I'm not sure what's going on here. So. Well, as we go about that, the whole part of making sure that talent understands the opportunity in agriculture, whether it's technology, whether you're lab technicians, whether you're CEOs, or whether you actually want to be in agronomy. All of those pieces relay, and so one of the great things that is happening with MSU's degrees is they're an ag business degree minor, okay? They're an ag engineering minor, so they're going to go to the College of Business because that's their focus. And they're going to come out and they're going to have the opportunity to relate on how important it is to this region to have a base understanding of agriculture and take these young, bright minds to keep them here. Because we all know the U.S. is all on a demographic decrease, with immigration is holding us somewhat balanced here. And so how do we take advantage of the students that are coming to this region every year and leaving the area with an attitude saying, "Oh, if I would have seen an opportunity, I would love to stay there." Well, how do we connect them with the businesses here better? And the connection to agriculture will definitely do that. So that's their first programs that they're coming out with. And how do we do more of that? Mankato School, so anybody have kids in Mankato School District, there's going to be awesome. There's going to be the option to have an ag elective this year. This is the first time probably, I don't know, ever in Mankato School District, but nearly. And so how can we get the largest school district to be more engaged than they are doing it? So if you have your kids and they're thinking about, hey, maybe I should take that class, take that opportunity to do that, and we're continuing that. School districts around this region are all adding second ag teachers full-time today, from Redwood Falls to Maple River, St. Peter, Waseca. So it's becoming the rising tide is lifting all ships, and that's part of what GreenSeam's trying to do. Let's just go back to that presentation then, or is it all broken now?
No, it should. I'm trying my best, buddy.
You showed the video at the very end.
That's okay. All right, I got it now.
Okay, sounds good.
So, and when you think of business creation and expansion, that kind of side thing that we're focused on, how do we, as John Constantine said, roll out the red carpet for them? But we're just narrowed in on agriculture. These are all businesses that have all been expanding in the last couple of years. Hundreds of millions of dollars. You got Fairbolt Foods, you got Revel Greens, Acre, the technology platform, and Elkhorn Clean Fuels. They're all putting hundreds of millions of dollars in their products every year, and most of us don't even realize that they're here. You know, you can go down to Cub Foods or Hy-Vee and you can pick up Revel Greens' product. You don't have to worry about the romaine lettuce issue that's being shipped in, all those types of things. So those businesses are here, and we've had a role in each one of those, some at larger extents than others. Together, some of our outcomes that we want to be is we want to see $1 billion in new capital in the next 5 years. We want to see a 20% increase in ag industry output. We want to grow that number of how much economic activity is happening. We want to see regional and community and counties and businesses more widely adopt being a part of the GreenSeam and saying they're part of this region. We want ag employment increased, which would be a tricky one with new technologies coming on and the lack of people as automation comes. And then we want to see new degrees and certificates being offered here. So really, you are part of the Green Seam, and I thank you all for your attention, and I'm open to many questions as you got.
Thank you, Sam. Let's do a round of applause for Sam.